Hi everyone, welcome back to Bayonetta on Nonstop Infinite Climax difficulty. I'm recording this right after my first video, so I still have no idea what you guys think of me playing this fucking game. And also, I'm sorry if my swearing comes out as fucking forced.
So, I asked around, and some whale in Europe is trying to fence a huge rock on the black market. He calls it the right eye, saying it's part of some set called the Eyes of the World. Fits the bill of what you're after, don't it? Now, here's the funny bit. The stone passes around the halls of power for hundreds of years, vanishes, and then the black market goes white hot for the thing. But the seller wanted an arm and a leg for it, to the point no one could stomach the price. So back goes the stone. But not before everyone figures out where the guy is. You're gonna enjoy doing this one, I bet. I love sticking it to the rich. Of course, when you do, don't forget your old buddy Enzo stuck his neck out on this one. Slide me a few fuzzoles out of the rich guy's pocket for my troubles, right? Anyways, you better get going before the trail gets cold. Off to the middle of nowhere. Paradise of Europe. Vigrid.
Vigrid, that's what it's called. Yeah, I said it before, this flashback is going to be really overused.
Welcome to Vigrid, our final stop. Entry visas are required of all travelers. Please submit your Vigrid-issued entry visa for inspection upon disembarking. Please make sure you take all your valuable belongings with you. Repeating this message. Welcome to Vigrid, our final stop. Entry visas are
You have arrived at last, my dear. The time has come to awaken the eyes of the world. Fear not, my dear child. Such a beautiful young lady you've become. I'll always see to it no harm comes to you.
So, this is supposed to be paradise?
Yeah, starting again. You know, I gotta mention, Bayonetta's hair is really iconic, but kind of hard to take seriously. It looks like if someone had that hairstyle out on the streets, I couldn't take that seriously. I could not. I'd imagine it'd be part of some kind of troop or something. Anyway, there's a moon pearl that's an object that increases your magic that you can get by destroying all these things. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now. Oh, also this item right here refills your magic. It can be useful in the beginning when you don't have any. Okay, so by destroying all of those props, the train is going to move away, which would reveal an arcade bullet, which we don't really need, but if this was your first time playing this, that would be a moon pearl. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a moon pearl. The other item you can collect that increases your stats is the broken witch heart. If you collect all of them, you get 2 full bars of health. And in case some of you are wondering what these things are, they're basically humans, but since we're in Purgatorio, they look like this. Yeah, Purgatorio. Don't know why they didn't just call it Purgatory. They wanted it to be fancy. If you're in case some of you are wondering what this is, it's Panther Within. You learned that in chapter 5, but since I'm replaying the earlier chapters, I get to use it whenever I want. This is Crow form. I'll be using it every now and then. And if you dodge an attack at the very last second, you activate Bat Within. Here's a key. You'll be seeing this every now and then. You can use it as a weapon, and it's actually slow but fairly powerful. This is a Joy, an enemy you're supposed to meet until at like chapter 6, I believe. And it did one of its more annoying attacks here, but no biggie. One of its fastest attacks is the kick, but right now the annoyance is that attacking a Joy with the key is actually a bit difficult. They don't have a lot of HP, thankfully, so it only takes me like roughly 4 hits, maybe 5. You can actually skip this fight though by just directly going to here and opening the door. But skipping a fight means you won't begin as good of a score. And I lost way too much health at the beginning right here. Since I have Panther within and Pro Form, I can immediately skip this part. But just for the sake of it, I'm going to be showing what happens if you do this fight right here. And you'll be doing it if you want to actually get a perfect score as well. Pure Platinum, that is. Yeah, one of the annoying parts about Joy is that they attack really, really freaking fast. And they pretty much dodge anytime they parry one of your moves. So they can be annoying. The accessory I have that actually creates an orb every time I dodge at the right moment. It's good if you're trying to beat a chapter, but it's not so good if you're just trying to actually trying to go for score. So don't equip it if you're going for score. Oh, and one of the Joys right there split in 2. Kind of an annoying thing. Although, good if you're going for score. Ah, dang it. She's actually pretty tough. So, one of the important things about Bayonetta is Wicked Weaves. There's some off-times that are basically all about just doing Wicked Weaves. You want to learn how to do Wicked Weaves quickly, and which combos allow you to do long versions of them, or more Wicked Weaves in a combo. Because they're extremely useful at damaging enemies. There's also abilities that you can unlock that allow you to do Wicked Weaves at all times, with a bit of magic, of course. You'll want to learn those as well. Like, you'll want to get used to casting them. I don't have any magic right now, but to cast one, you just press back and forward, and whichever Wicked Weave you want to do. This is for the weapon, main weapon you have, and this is for the kick versions. I believe these moves right here do damage enemies if you're like up in their face, but you'll be using these motions to attack enemies from a distance for the most part. Oh, and before I get on that platform, once you've activated it, you can go over here, down here in fact, for the very first AF time. It's kind of a tricky one to find. In fact, the first AF time I actually found was in chapter 5. That's how hard they can be to find. I'll be doing this one, but only this one. The other ones, they'll be getting way too difficult for me to use. And here, use Witch Time, so that means I should not be equipping the Rosemary right here. I'm just going to change my equipment to this. Even though this is infinite climax, they let you activate Witch Time again, because otherwise this challenge will be pretty much straight up impossible. So we get to see Witch Time in action right here. The specific challenge of this thing right here is that you can't damage enemies when you're not in Witch Time. Ah, and this enemy right here is actually really annoying because he's got a fast stab that can be difficult to deal with. Some enemies have attacks that are easier to deal with than others. Like the enemy that has an attack that attacks from a distance right here, this one right here, probably one of the easiest enemies to activate Witch Time from, because it's so predictable. I managed to defeat that enemy at the very last moment. Oh goodness, that enemy right there. The one that's bigger and different than the other ones. You want to be extremely careful with that one. He is very, very tough. And I don't know how that enemy missed me right there. Come on, attack me. Here. You want to get rid of this enemy first. You want to. You want to use torture attacks. You want to you want to throw everything you have at this one enemy. It is by far one of the most annoying ones, if not the most annoying one. And I have to use two torture attacks, of course. Come on, attack me. I have a time limit, and I messed up right there. It's not the end of the world if you manage to scrub against these enemies. Even though they're the bottom of the rung, they're still very common, and it's not a bad thing if you scrub against them. I almost did right there, in fact. And I almost did right there again. The weaker the attack, if you dodge an attack that is very, very weak, it won't make witch time last all that long. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. I forgot there was a joy. Well, here's an example of what happens if you fail in halftime. You just start back over here. So it's easy to restart. But halftimes in general are extremely, extremely difficult. This is like the easiest one. So you'll be restarting very, very often. And I'm just going to fast forward the video right here. It's not very obvious, but initially, when you're playing, you don't notice that each time you get hit, your magic meter depletes. At the very least, that's how it is for the harder difficulties. I'm not sure if that's how it is in the easier ones. Okay, I haven't managed to explain it yet, but the reason why the enemy I just destroyed right here there is so annoying is because in the easier difficulties, you can't activate Witch Time against it. Despite the fact that it works on everything else. Like, the only way you can activate Witch Time against it is if you do a perfect counter with the accessory that allows you to parry. Come on. You can't activate Witch Time like that. You have to use a dodge. I mean, you can't activate Witch Time like that in this like difficulty. You have to use the dodge because that's how the game is programmed. And that was too close. That was way too close. You want to get rid of the joy right here. This is probably the most memorable torture attack in the game. For a variety of reasons. Oh, damn it, I didn't finish her. Like, normally it only takes like 2 swipes and 1 torture attack to defeat a joy, but not this time. Ah, dang it. Yeah, so these enemies basically only have 3 attacks to deal with. So I should be able to defeat them. That being said, their attack right there that has a huge charge time, it can be a little finicky to dodge. Like, it hits earlier than anticipated. And speaking of hitting earlier than anticipated, I completely messed up dodging that. Well, I guess while I'm still here, I can actually change back to a different weapon. Because I'm using the Bazillions right now for my legs, these weapons. Because I thought they were good, but they're not actually that great, to be honest. At least I don't think they are. And here's Sai-Fung, which you can equip as a main weapon. I've never tried it yet. Guess I'll see you some other time, though. Anyway, this is my favorite leg weapon. The rocket launchers. Because they're extremely effective against groups of enemies. The explosions have humongous reach. And they're also great for combos, too. See how much damage that did? Much faster than the Bazillions. Well, that's not how it was supposed to happen. Yeah, sometimes the joy gets disjointed from the torture device, which can lead to some funny camera angles. what torture attack you use depends on whether the enemy is in the air or which like position you have compared to the enemy. Like if you're behind them, you do an attack that involves kicking their ass. If you're in front of them, you'll kick them into Iron Maiden. And as I said, if you're in the air, ooh, cool, got a platinum medal. If you're in the air, you'll do that attack that involves hanging them or whatever it is. Oh, and if they're like idle on the ground, like fallen, you'll do an attack where you have a huge weight fall on them. Either that or a grave. Kind of fitting. Anyway, I can go back to actually playing the main story now. Supposed to go on this thing. And it leads you to the next area. And you cannot go back to the halftime if you go on it, by the way. Which is why I was like, I had to like really remember right there that I was supposed to do that. Because some halftimes can be very easy to miss. Especially in the beginning of the game.
I knew it. This town's teeming with heaven's little helpers. It's making my buddies downstairs awfully nervous.
And your point is?
Some places in this world are closer to Paradiso or Inferno. The rat hole of a town you and I live in is close to both. But the Vigridians, they got a special air about them. They're closer to Paradiso than anyone should ever be. And that shit just plain creeps me out. I guess I'm gonna have to set up shop here and score me some halos. These stupid rings are worth a fortune back home. Since it seems you're spoiling for a fight, if you come across any of these, bring them to me, and I'll hook you up.
Another one looking to line his pockets. I'm beginning to see why Enzo is so fond of you.
Real cute. But let's get one thing straight. Your fights are yours alone. I'm only here to watch my handiwork in action. So don't get any bright ideas about coming to me for help.
No. You get one thing straight. I'm not the slightest bit interested in the fact that you made these guns. If you get in my way, I will... How do the Americans put it? Oh yes. Bust a cap in your ass.
Right on, baby. Right on.
Yeah, see, for a pseudo-optional scene, it's okay to use the still-by-still cinematics, because it's not that important, but for like the middle of an actual story scene, it's kind of embarrassing. More so than the blatant pandering and nudity, to be honest. Anyway, actually, I wanted to show something cool, but unpractical about the sword. If you hold the targeting button, you'll summon this circle and do this charge attack. You press Y to shoot this humongous beam that deals lots of damage. But it's such a long charge time and you have to stand still that it's really not that effective. Not to mention it's not that great for combos. If there's one collectible I'm not done collecting just yet, it's the Umbran Tears of Blood. You need to collect all of them. Half of them are also achievements. You have to collect all of them if you want to unlock the Climax bracelet, which is a pretty powerful accessory. There's a witch heart here, but since I've already gotten it, I got a bunch of rings instead. This is actually the last chest I unlocked because I thought I already unlocked it in my previous playthroughs.
What?
all of the enemies have intros like this. They're kind of cool the first time, but some are more boring than others. And then there's the joy one. Here's another iconic scene of the game that many people remember. Anyway, I have to get used to the fact that I'm playing on Nonstop Infinite Climax again, because since I got a taste of Witch Time, I'm kind of used to having it on all the time. That's the danger of playing the half times, because you get used to... Ah, dang it. See how much damage that did? Because the half times play by different rules. And they can throw you off when you start playing the game again. When you're using the Panther Within, you want to hold the button to keep it active. Sometimes it stays active even if you're not holding the button, but it's a little finicky when you do that. It has a tendency of disactivating if you don't hold the button. Anyway, yeah, this is the one I was talking about that throws a huge grave on the enemy. Sometimes it's a weight, though. These small enemies that are around, by the way, they're deers and decorations, or just deers, I think. The easiest enemy in the game. Far and away. It's hard to aim with the Panther Putt, but it is a very fun thing to do, and you will be using it in the end. So it's not a bad thing to get used to. Yes! That's how you finish an enemy. In Non-Stop Infinite Climax, anyway. Torture attacks? You don't need those. And that's a dangerous move that guy did right there. It's probably the most powerful move. Basically where they charge up and then suddenly launch themselves into you. The thing that I remember about Beloveds all the time is that the fact they have some kind of baby face. Sometimes some designs don't have it. Anyway, you can parry this guy's attack anyway. Even counter it. Careful of his grab though. Sometimes he's dumb and doesn't know where to grab, but you really don't want to get grabbed by him, especially in half times. Like right there, he tried to grab me. Anyway, yeah, this guy is fairly easy once you get the hang of him, because his attacks are extremely slow. And here's another iconic scene from the first game. Your first climax that involves summoning one of the demons that Bayonetta has. Also, probably one of the more gorish scenes in the game every time you summon a demon like this. Oh, also, Bayonetta is pseudo-naked when she does this, but it always sort of kind of tries to censor her. Even though I'm pretty sure her model doesn't actually have any, you know... Anyway, this is actually a pretty cool weapon to have. Slow, but very, very powerful. And also excellent for getting a good combo score at the beginning of a match. I'm going back because I want to show that there's a match you can do right here against some enemies. Very annoying ones. Also, now that I think about it, yeah, I should be re-equipping the Evil Harvest Rosary again, even though it's not great for my score. So yeah, you can use enemy weapons, but they're a bit limited. They break very, very easily, is the problem. And the camera isn't that great sometimes. Anyway, yeah, that wicked weave I did right there pretty much murdered these enemies, quite literally. You really do not want to fuck around with Grace and Glory and Gracious and Glorious. They're easily the most powerful enemies you'll be dealing against. They can combo you and deal tons of damage to you out of nowhere. This is an extremely short burst. You should really not be able to get damaged here, of all things. Bad boy. A witch heart right here. It may have been too fast, but you can collect it right here. There's some witch hearts that are extremely easy to miss at the beginning of the game. Because the beginning of the game is where you'll be going through most long stages like this. Later on, the game kind of makes you go through much shorter things. Like boss fights and gimmicky pseudo levels that involve completely changing the controls out of nowhere. Anyway, we can't use the sword here, but that's okay because this is a very short verse. If you want to shoot here, but what you really want to do is just parry the meteors Fortitudo throws at you constantly. Because it deals a lot of damage against him and finishes this cutscene a lot faster than they really should. Although Fortitudo keeps missing me for some reason. If I go to join my witches back there, they would have gotten eaten, but because I dealt so much damage to Fortitudo right at the beginning, the scene ends early. So I saved my witches in the flashback, even though I technically did not because they still died. This game loves its flashbacks, seriously. There's gonna be tons of them. Pretty sure they're just there to pad out the length of some scenes, though. Also, an easy pure platinum, once again. Gates of Hell. You can buy stuff in there. You can use items to heal yourself and increase your magic and stuff like that. I've never really used them, ever. Here you can concoct your own items, but again, using the items punishes your ranking, so that's why I never really got used to it. There is one item I used often because you're forced to use it, the red hot shot. If you lose all your health and you're not in a cinematic that instantly kills you, it will revive you, or like give you health out of nowhere. And these items right here to add accessories to your character, but kind of pointless. So another beloved right there. He's got a different face, a more boring one if you ask me. You can get some damage on him early on if you want, but you cannot kill him, not yet. In fact, you don't have to damage him at all, but you can increase your score if you do that, so you probably want to do that anyway. Combos are a bit different when you're in the air. Ironically enough, some challenges involve having you stay in the air as long as you can, but not much point to it. Every time the guy slams the bridge into the wall, Bayonetta will be stunned if she's on the ground. That's why I'm in the air. Anyway, yeah, I depleted this guy's energy completely, but it did not kill him. You fail this QTE, you die. I think. Some QTEs, you don't die if you fail them, but that one right there, I'm pretty sure you will die. The early game QuickTime events, they will almost all kill you. And I have to press R to aim at this guy if I want to hit him with my gun right there. Because the gun, even though it auto-aims, it's not excellent at it. You have a time limit to actually beat this guy right here, I think. I'm not positive. I've never really failed this part. And he's doing his most annoying attack right here. Continuously moving his arms. I do believe that damage in him back in when he was ramming the bridge against the wall, that actually did deplete his health a bit. But he always at least has 50% when you fight him right there. Gigaton. Gamora. Is that this thing's name? Yeah, I think that's what its name is. I could check right now. I think I will. Except no, I can't because the chapter has ended. It roars like an elephant. Kind of quirky. Anyway, yeah, that was this chapter, and I platinumed it anyway, despite the fact that I wasn't really trying.
I should have been a pole dancer.
But again, this is one of the early chapters, so it's really not that difficult. I won't be getting platinums in pretty much all of the future chapters because I'll be avoiding their AF times. Higher score, but worse time. I guess I'll update it. Or actually, no, my first attempt, even though I had a lower score, I had much more platinum to it, so I'm going to keep keeping it. Also, Angel Attack. Again! Seriously, the most boring game. Although, I didn't show how it is last time, so I guess I'll show it again. You press Y to shoot, headshots count, double kills count. The big enemies give you 5 points, these small head things only 3 points. And there's that enemy mystery guy that appears every now and then. This one right here, kind of hard to hit, but gives you 10 points. That's all there is to it. This is really boring after you've played it a million times. Although I guess another aspect of this is that you can exchange points for items, and one of the only ways that you can buy like multiple red hotshots is through this mini game. Although I think it's much more reliable to get more red hotshots by going through easy mode, because you can find those in that mode in abundance, and it's easier to stock up on them that way. So yeah, I'm gonna be moving to the holy city of Vigrid next time. City of Deja Vu, in fact. Hope you've all enjoyed this video and hope you all have a very nice day. Bye bye.